RealAgriculture.com presents Under the Microscope with BioVision Seed Labs.
We are here with Holly Gelech, Business Development Manager for BioVision Seed Labs, a very special edition of Under the Microscope because we were actually in the same city at the same time. So, welcome here.
Thank you.
Yes, all right, and we are going to talk soybeans.
Yes.
So maybe obviously there's lots of momentum around the crop, lots of interest across the prairies, which is, not your typical soybean growing region. What are you hearing from some growers about some of the reasons why soybeans are maybe this popular?
Well, what I just came back from the Manitoba seed growers, and there's lots of interest from them in growing soybeans. And where that's really come in the past 5 to 10 years is looking for other crop options. Canola has been a large crop in Western Canada for a number of years and continually growing. But cereals have really somewhat come by the wayside, and especially pulses. So other pulses, such as peas, have really gone off people's radar. And that really is a function of commodities, handling, and a number of other issues. So soybeans has been looked at as a Cinderella crop for Manitoba to be able to expand the crop rotations and best management practices.
Right, and right now, certainly what I've been hearing as well is that because it's a new crop for the area, because it's a low input crop, it doesn't really have, as of yet, the pest pressure that, say, canola or even cereals do at this point. Now, obviously, that's going to change. The more we grow a crop, the more these pest cycles start to grow. But certainly for right now, it does offer some breathing room for those rotations. So when we're talking about soybeans, what are something from the seed analysis side that you're seeing in the crop?
Well, this year what we've seen is a little poorer quality than prior years. Now, we believe it is strictly attributed to the growing season at the very end of the crop cycle. So as it was maturing, it was very hot, it was very dry, and then as a result, there has been a lot of soybeans that we're seeing lower germinations, and we attribute that, we believe, to handling very much. So that's handling at harvest, handling into the bins, as well as the cleaning process. So the germination range that we typically see for soybeans is really the mid-90s to the mid-80s. That's typical harvest germinations. On the contrary, this year what we're seeing is only a few in the 90s, and most of them have been in the high 80s to low 80% range. But we also have seen some in the 70s, which is very rare. And again, what we're seeing is a lot of cracks in the seed coat as well, and that's really what we believe attributing to abnormals in the germination test.
Right, and that, of course, with cracks, they're not always cracks you can see, right, to the naked eye, and over time that may start to affect the germ by spring. Is that like over winter, and as does that continue to decline?
That is what we saw last year. That's exactly what we saw last year, is that germinations were conducted in the winter and even after cleaning. And we do see a germination drop of, you could say 5%, maybe up to 10% post-cleaning compared to harvest, just due to the handling. But what we saw last year is seed growers doing pre-checks before the end of the selling season, and they were seeing some germination drop through the winter. And that could be attributed to a number of things, but it's primarily just storability, and over time the germination starts to drop.
Right. Okay, so certainly for farmers, either with their seed lots or wanting to try the crop for the first time maybe in 2013, definitely something that they need to do before heading out to the field to really have the most accurate picture of germ.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And from the abnormal standpoint, that's a question we get a lot, because these are not necessarily dead seeds that is bringing down the germination, it's abnormal seedlings. So we have a demonstration that we will show later in the video, but what we are seeing is very, very short roots with minimal secondary root tissue growing. We are also seeing necrosis of the leaves, over half of the first cotyledons coming out. So that's part of our M&P that we have to classify that as abnormal. So those are some of the characteristics that we visually see in the lab.
Okay, great. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Lindsay.